Hey everyone, welcome. We're going to talk about something that is, well, it's literally all around us. Our buildings. Yeah, I know, we always think of pollution coming from cars, maybe factories, but what if the biggest culprit is actually hiding in plain sight?
I mean, what if the biggest polluter you know is your own home? Sounds a little dramatic, right? But the numbers, they don't lie. The places we live and work have this massive, kind of hidden environmental footprint. So let's look at the actual data.
Okay, first number, 40%. That's right, 40%. The U.S. Green Building Council tells us that our buildings, they just chew up 40% of all the materials and energy we use across the entire globe. Just stop and think about that for a second. Almost half of everything we pull out of the ground, every single bit of power we generate, it goes into our structures. Wild.
And we're not done. It gets even crazier. They're also pumping out a full third of all global CO2 emissions. A third! To put that in perspective for you, that's more than every single car, truck, plane, and ship on the planet combined. Yeah, let that sink in.
And one more for you, 25%. A quarter of all the wood that's harvested in the entire world ends up in our buildings. So you see, these aren't just random numbers on a screen. This is a massive wake-up call. So, when you put it all together, these stats paint a really clear picture, don't they? The way we've been building our world has this enormous hidden price tag. But hey, seeing the problem, really seeing it, that's always the first step to figuring out a solution.
All right, so how do we fix this? What's the answer? Well, it really comes down to building smarter. And this isn't just about, slapping a bandage on the problem. It's about completely rethinking how we build from the ground up. And what's so cool is that the solution is, well, it's ancient, and at the same time, it's totally cutting edge.
Let's go way back. This idea of building with nature, not against it, it's as old as civilization. I'm talking 10,000 years ago. People were doing what we'd now call natural building. They used local, simple stuff, mud, earth, straw, to make their homes. And you know what? It was super efficient, it was simple, and it was sustainable by its very nature. Okay, now let's jump forward to today. We're taking those exact same ancient principles and, well, we're supercharging them. We're mixing them with modern technology and a much deeper scientific understanding of ecology. And that powerful combo, that's what we call green building.
So what does green building actually mean? In a nutshell, it's all about being intentional, being conscious of the whole process. So instead of just caring about the final house or the finished office building, it looks at the entire journey, from the materials you pick to the impact on the local community, the whole shebang. The goal is to create spaces that are healthy for us and for the planet.
Okay, so let's get practical. How does this actually work? What are the real strategies that make a building green? Well, it all starts with this really important concept called embodied energy.
And this is a really key idea to grasp. Embodied energy isn't what you pay on your monthly electricity bill. Nope, it's the total hidden energy cost of a building over its entire life. It's everything, from the energy it took to make the concrete, to ship the steel, all the way to the energy it takes to tear it down someday.
So you can basically break this life cycle down into 4 main stages. First, you've got sourcing the materials, then transporting them, then the actual construction, and finally, what happens at the very end of its life. A green building approach looks at every single one of these steps and asks, how can we make this better? How can we shrink the impact?
And that last step, the end of life part, it holds some incredible potential. Get this, a staggering 95% of the materials from construction and demolition can actually be recycled or reused. 95%. When you think that way, a wrecking ball isn't an ending. It's the start of something new. It's a resource generator.
And just look at what this means in the real world. Old asphalt shingles from a roof, they can be used to pave new roads. There's even a program literally called Recycling Roofs into Roads. How cool is that? Old concrete can be crushed up and used in new building projects. And metals, they can be recycled using just 5% of the energy it took to make them in the first place. It's an amazing, powerful cycle.
But, recycling is just one piece of the puzzle. Green building is so much more. It's about clever design that uses natural light and airflow. It's about generating your own power on site with solar or wind. It's using super efficient appliances, buying green power from the grid if you need to, and just optimizing your heating and cooling so there's almost no waste.
So, okay, we've seen the problem, and we've looked at the playbook of solutions. But what's the big picture here? What's the ultimate goal? It's way more than just making one efficient building here and there. It's not creating a global standard for a healthier planet for all of us.
And the great news is this is actually happening right now. Programs like the LEED standard here in the US, they've kind of become a model for the whole world. You're seeing countries everywhere, from Hong Kong to Sweden, developing their very own green guidelines, tweaked for their own local climates and cultures. It really has become a global movement.
And this all leads to what I think is the most powerful idea in all of green building. The endgame here isn't just to do less bad stuff. It's not just about getting to net zero. It's about going beyond that. It's about creating buildings that are actively restorative, buildings that actually help heal us and the environment around them.
And that brings us right back to the beginning, doesn't it? This isn't just some abstract thing about saving the planet. It's about making our own lives better. Time and time again, studies show that green buildings lead to healthier and more productive people. It's the ultimate win-win. It's good for the Earth, and it's good for us.
So that really just leaves us with one final big question. We know this is possible. The tech is there. The ideas are there. The real challenge now is a shift in our thinking, moving away from just sustaining our world to actively helping it heal. So the question is, how can we build a future that doesn't just sustain, but one that actually restores?